Boy, I'm just going to town. I haven't been on here for very long, but there's a couple things I want to tell you before you come out and work. Depending where you're working, I told you it was the middle of August, didn't I? If you're going to be out in the hot sun, depending, you know, where you're working, you might want to be out there in the morning, you might want to be out there in the evening, or whatever. But because the sun is where it's at, where the house is and stuff, the sun's right up there. This is already starting to get shady, so I knew it's going to be fine. I'm going to be out here. I'm going to sweat a little bit, but it's going to get shady pretty soon, even though it's only going to be 1 o'clock. It's still going to be shady for the rest of the day. And also make sure you're hydrated. I've already gone through one of these. I'm going to have to go up and get some more. Put ice in it and water. And I've got my gloves on. I got my knee braces on. I've got my knee pad here. I've got my goggles on. I've got a hat on. I've got my mask on. And incidentally, I read somewhere, I can't remember exactly what it is now. If you have a mask on and goggles, a lot of times your goggles will fog up. And I read somewhere that if you wash your goggles with something, I forget if it's Windex or if it's soapy water, leave a little film on there. I'm going to have to look it up again. It'll keep your glasses from fogging up. Your little, I call them goggles, but they're just, you know, little ones, like glasses, sunglasses. Anyways, then they will keep them from fogging up. I'm going to have to find that somewhere. And make sure you're all prepared. And once you start working, remember I told you I was going to start at the bottom and work up and finish each step as I went. You're noticing they're not all the way done. And as I go, I start thinking, how am I going to fix these? What is it going to entail? And I just think about that kind of stuff as I go along. And then I'll get myself a game plan, because up in here, you see how it's cracking. Remember I told you these are 2x4s, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. They glue them all together. That's what's called a glue lam beam, and they made them out of and they made them for these steps, and it's the same size. This particular beam material is the same size as a regular 4x12. The two that I replaced were these top two steps were regular 4x12s, and they were the same size and everything as these glue lam beam material. But you'll notice the concrete veneer that I put on here, that thin set, you've got hairline cracks. There's a 2x4, there's a 2x4, there's a 2x4. And it seems to be cracking right about each joint. Remember, see, these are pretty old. See how you got little hairline cracks in here, and all I can think of is some of the moisture as the thin set material was drying. Some of the moisture was getting down in there, or some of the moisture from the bottom up was coming up and causing this stuff to crack, you know, like that. And what I'm thinking about doing is when I get this all cleaned up, take some caulking, and where I see the major cracking, I'll just put some caulking over that. And then I think I'm going to seal these after I clean them up. I think I'm going to seal them too, and that might help the next material bond better on it. It might keep it from not soaking into there and drying out and not curing properly before I go any further. But I'm still kind of wondering about these top two, even though these were regular 4x12s. These were number 1. Usually you can get a Douglas fir 4x12 number 2 or better is considered okay for framing. But if you're doing long spans with a beam or something, you want to use number 1s. I ended up ordering number 1s, and they still had, look at all the cracking and checking was on here. It almost looks like these were 2x4s glued together, but they're not. This is a full one. This one's full too, but see, this one was cracking too, and it's cracking about where these hairline cracks are in here. So, in any case, I'm still kind of plugging along, and I wanted you to see what is entailed to do this. And let me get my my tripod set up on this step, and I think you can see that step there. And I've got a stiff putty knife, not too much of a flex on it, and I'm just using that. And remember, I said I had floated these, and that the back side is way thicker than the front. This back here is probably 3/8 of an inch thick, and so this seems to be popping out so far, and then see, it's going to about there. And I'm thinking, let's do a little bit more over here. And I'm just being careful up against here, and I'll have to come back to that, because see, when I did those, I caulked it and then I stuccoed. And I don't want to just rip those out, because it could rip the stucco depending who patched this the last time and all that. So I'm going to go back and carefully go along the edges with my sheetrock knife and stuff. But once I get to about there, see, this feels pretty solid in there, and this still feels solid. But I see there's still a little hairline crack there, so I know this little section will crack up to there, like that. And if I need to hit it, maybe I can. See, this one's feeling pretty solid up to that point there. So I'm not gonna go any further than that. I'm gonna leave that back section, and you see how thick that is? Look at that. That's probably 5/16 thick on that particular step. See here, about 5/16 here. Here you go, about 5/16, a good quarter. And every step was like that. Look at this. Look at these bottom ones. Look how thick that is. That's about a good 5/16 to 3/8. Look at this here. This bottom step here. See how much material I had to put on here just to float it at an angle from here down, so when the water gets on here, it comes down. But this was going back so far, and I not only had to make it level, and I had to lift it up to taper it on out. See there? That's over a 1/2 inch thick. And so theory has it that because this is solid in there, I'm not going to go back any further. I don't necessarily have to take that out. And I don't know if you saw what I did on these stairs initially. You need to look at that. How to repair exterior wood stairs. How to float out exterior wood 4x12 stairs. I don't know what I've titled it, but you'll have to go to my main channel page, go to playlists, and then scroll through the playlists, and you'll find it. Okay, but I put screws in there, sheetrock screws, every so often, and I ran my level across there, and that gave me my straight edge for me to start floating. So I knew how much to put on each step and how to make it straight so it doesn't dip and all that kind of stuff. In fact, see, there's a screw right there. See, right there. There's another one. See, I ran them all the way through there, along back there on each row, and that gave me my height on how much I wanted to float it out and stuff. Because those screws are still down there, and because that's thick enough, and that's an inside corner, most of this is stains. Now see here, a piece broke off all the way to there. See, there's a screw right there, there's a screw right there. See that? So I'm going to leave that back section, and I not only floated this portion of the stair, which is called the rise, the stair riser. I did the underneath of each one of these, so there's that thin set material underneath that too. And I'm gonna leave that section there, and it's coming off pretty close to the same all the way along here, isn't it? And so I think, for the sake of argument, I'm just going to leave that, and then I can use that for my floating. See, it's cutting right to there. I don't see another crack here, and that feels pretty solid right in there. And I could leave that section alone. I see a little hairline crack just to that section, and because most of the other has gone off, I could do that business, kind of run it like that and leave that last bit on there, and then I'll float whatever material I have. I'll float that from there down to nothing down here, and then I'll recalk, because I see this back has a hairline crack on it. Most of them do. I'll have to caulk that before I put my next bit of material on there. See there? Another hairline crack there. When I did the thin set, I thought, I don't know if that crack's gonna go there or not, because I put it here and here, and it built up. I didn't think I would have any cracking. See, this one has no crack on it, but over here it does. See that? So even though I have each one of these floated high down to low, if any water hits and splatters there he has it. Water can get on that, run along there, run backwards, and then run down the face of that, get in that crack, and then that water goes underneath the house, and then it starts getting moisture on the backside, and then it can, depending how long it's there, if it's over there during the entire winter, let's say, then you get a chance of getting a little bit of mold, and then the next time it rains, getting a little bit more. And the wood just acts as a sponge, and it just soaks, and it's just a little bit, and then the next time it rains, it gets a little bit bigger and then wider, and then pretty soon it gets down the backside. It's funny how water works. Okay, so I know I'm going to have to do something with that, but you see this step right here, that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to take it any further. I am going to obviously get this off of here, but see, it's going right to there, and it's kind of stuck, so I'm just breaking that off. And then I need to go back. Okay, it came off okay, but sometimes let's work on that. Sometimes when this comes up, see, it's just kind of stuck there. I may not be able to pull it out until I just run my sheetrock knife along there from where the caulking was, or where the stucco patch I used was a vinyl stucco patch, and it kind of sticks on there, so I just have to be kind of careful, because if I'm not, I could rip the top layer of the stucco off, depending what kind of stucco you have, what type they used, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go back on these stairs, and I'm just going to be careful. You know, when you're demoing stuff, is there a right or wrong way to do just about anything? Yeah. You want to be like a bull in a china shop on certain areas. It cracks me up sometimes on HGTV. You see people coming in there with big old sledgehammers, and they don't care about certain things, and sometimes they'll do damage on things that were supposed to be saved. And just with a little bit of knowledge and patience, you can get it off without messing up your existing area. And so I'm just going to kind of continue that. See, sometimes you can get pieces out if you walk it back and forth carefully. Other times, see, this one's kind of stuck in there, so I'm just going to use my sheetrock knife. Because I remember I caulked it, and then I also put stucco patch on there, and the stucco patch was a vinyl material, pretty slick stuff too. I'm not going to show you that on this particular video, but I ended up having to make some patches on this stucco. Came out really good with this stuff I use. You'll have to find that. Go to my playlist. Go down to the main channel page on my YouTube channel. Go down to playlists and how to patch stucco or something like that. And I'll probably have some videos of using the material. I think it's a Vitex. I forget exactly what the material was. Two different things that the previous owner had left in a 5-gallon bucket. And this stuff, son of a gun, was still good after all these years. This, I don't know, last time they did the patches for that stucco patch, but that stuff was in a bucket, and I didn't think it was going to be any good. And yep, sure enough, it was still good. Had a mixture of sand and some sticky stucco material on it, and wow, it worked really good. Patching stucco, and I even had some areas on a wall that there were some holes down low. In fact, maybe I can show you that real quick. I had some patches, and I thought, how am I going to patch that? Do I have to go to the store and get some stucco patch? It's not going to match very well. Anyways, I did a patch right there. Can't even really see it, can you? And then I did another one right in here. Can't even see it now, can you? Look at that. And then I also used that same stuff to go down the stairs, and I did some other areas too. In any case, I'm gonna keep working on this. So I'm gonna be really careful as I work down the stairs on both sides. And I've just been throwing all my stuff in this 5-gallon bucket, and then I saved all my bags. This is the rapid cement all that I used for the grout in between all these stones in the patio. Turned out really good. And I had all the bags left, and I saved them because I thought maybe I'll use them down here for garbage sacks or something. And I'm putting the trash in there, and then I'll tape those up, throw them in the trash. The last thing I hate, my pet peeve, is throwing stuff like this right down into your trash can, getting it all dusty and dirty and grimy and stuff. And I saved some more bags, and this one here is filled up with all kinds of stuff that I pulled out from underneath the house. You know, wood shavings and just all kinds of stuff that I found underneath there after we moved in. We shouldn't have found anything because we got a termite inspection, we got a whole house inspection. They said everything underneath the house was fine. Well, it wasn't really fine. I don't think anybody went down there, but although they gave us a full bill of good health on both those inspections, and I thought, forget it, I'll go ahead and do it myself. So I've been doing some stuff underneath the house. I'm making videos of all that stuff too. If you want to see those, of course I've got that on my channel as well. Okay, I guess I better get back to work and get busy. I'll get her. Now, I kind of had a feeling sometime during the summer I would have to take care of these stairs again. And today is the day I start. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos.